two anniversaries to remember today. The first, it's the Saint's Day of Saint Cyril. He was the Bishop of Jerusalem in the 4th century and tended to court trouble. It was a time of great turbulence about what Christians should believe, and he was often on the wrong side of the councils that were making those decisions, and so he was in exile for a good many years while he was titular Bishop of Jerusalem. But eventually he was allowed to return and became part of the decision-making process about the doctrinal nature of the relationship between Jesus and God and Jesus and us and so on. But the other reason he got himself into trouble was because he would sell church property, property bequeathed often by emperors and others to the church in Jerusalem, in order to raise money to feed the poor. That was his priority. He wanted to give to the poor lives that were livable, and to take them out of poverty if he possibly could. And if this meant him upsetting people in the church, well, too bad. The other character that I want us to think of today is Eberhard Bettger, who died in 2000. But he had been a colleague of Dietrich Bonhoeffer and others who had participated in a plot to assassinate Hitler in 1944. The plot was foiled and they were arrested. Bettger was released by when the end of the war came, before he could be executed. But Bonhoeffer was executed just before the war finished. But Eberhard Bettger and Dietrich Bonhoeffer regarded justice as much more important than their loyalty to the church. So that when the church in Germany, under the Führer's influence, decided that they would remove from their posts all priests and pastors who had any kind of Jewish blood in them, the people like Bettger left the church and founded what was called the Confessing Church, which had its own structure but had to operate very much in secret because the Nazis didn't approve of it. It was an opposition to the powers that be in Germany. And so for them too, the search for justice and for a society that accurately reflect Christian values was much more important than loyalty to any church that they might have actually probably loved initially but couldn't go along with when they took that particular decision, and others like it. And so today I just wanted to go along with this sense that what is really important about Christian faith is the way we search for justice, the way we try and work alongside those who are poor and provide for them where we can. This is a priority. And other things that we might find important are not as important, particularly not things like doctrine and church structures. What Christ came to preach was the need for a society where we all support and strengthen each other, and the institutions that have developed over history in order to make that happen often fail. And those of us who are Christians want always to make sure that our priorities are Christ's, and that we are loyal to the search for justice and to those who are poor, rather than to any institution that might have otherwise been created to echo Christ's will.